My girlfriend texted, "Don't freak out. I'm going to dinner with my boss." I replied, "Enjoy." Then I forwarded her work emails to HR and ordered her a one-way Uber to his wife's office. The call I got 30 minutes later was pure chaos. I, 30 me, am a planner. My job is logistics. I look at a system, find the weak points, and make sure everything arrives where it's supposed to when it's supposed to. My girlfriend, now ex-obviously Celeste, 29, always said I was predictable. She meant it as an insult. I took it as a compliment. We've been together 4 years, living in my condo for 2. I pay the mortgage, she pays half the utilities and buys expensive groceries, or so I thought. For the last 6 months, things have been off. She's in marketing, and her boss, Gavin, 45, suddenly decided she was a superstar. This meant late strategy sessions, weekend client emergencies, and a lot of new designer bags that her salary definitely doesn't cover. Whenever I'd ask, she'd give me that pitying look. "Artie, babe, this is just what the fast track looks like. You wouldn't get it." I didn't get it, but I wasn't stupid. The weak point in her system, our shared living room iPad. We use it to stream movies, order food. She'd used it to check her personal email and never logged out. I wasn't snooping, I swear. I opened the browser to look up a recipe, and her inbox was just there. It was an email from her to herself forwarding a chain from her work account. Subject to expense approvals. It was her and Gavin, and it was meticulous. She wasn't just sleeping with him. She was billing him, and he was approving it. Client dinner. Megacorp at La Phantom, $150. That was the night she told me she was at a spin class with her sister. Team building strategy weekend at the Vineyard Hotel, $2,200. This included spa treatments and room service for a team of 2. Contingency supplies client gifts from a high-end department store. $1,500. I recognized the store. It's where she got her new trench coat and those red-bottom shoes. It was all there, dozens of emails. Him approving everything with little notes like, "Happy to help, superstar, see you tonight." And her replying, "You're the best, G, can't wait." My blood didn't run cold, it just settled. It was a logistics problem. The shipment, my trust was rotten, and the delivery address was wrong. I sat there for an hour. I screenshotted everything. Every email, every expense line, every fawning reply. I saved it all to a new secure cloud drive she knew nothing about. Then I did a little digging. Gavin, married, of course. His wife Diana, partner at a shark-infested family law firm downtown. Oh, that is just perfect. I waited for 2 weeks. I was the perfect, predictable, supportive boyfriend. I made dinner. I listened to her complain about presentation stress. I was just waiting for the right moment. It came last night, a Tuesday. She was getting ready doing the full-face makeup using the perfume I hate because it's too strong. "Big night?" I asked, sipping a beer. Yes, she sighed, adjusting her dress. "Gavin wants to go over the new campaign. Just dinner, but it's so tedious. Don't wait up." She kissed my cheek. It felt like a mosquito bite. She left at 7:05 p.m. My phone buzzed. "Celeste, don't freak out. I'm going to dinner with my boss. Just us, big project, behave." That condescending little wink. That was the green light. I replied in joy. Then I executed the plan. 7:06 p.m. I opened a fresh anonymous email account. I drafted a message to the head of HR and the chief financial officer at her company. Subject: urgent expense report fraud and misuse of funds. Gavin last name department body to whom it may concern. I am a concerned employee. Gavin last name has been using company funds to finance an affair with his subordinate Celeste. They have been filing fraudulent expense reports for months. I have attached just a few examples of hotel bookings, spa treatments, and luxury goods disguised as client dinners and team building. I suggest you audit his department immediately. I wish to remain anonymous. I attached the 10 most incriminating screenshots. Click Send. 7:10 p.m. I opened the Uber app. I knew the restaurant. Gavin was predictable too. Le Fantôme, their client spot. Pick up Le Fantôme. Destination 121 Financial Plaza, the offices of Diana's law firm. 7. I sent a text to Celeste. Change of plans. Your ride is here. I blocked her number, blocked her on all social media, logged out of the shared iPad. I sat back. I turned on the TV. I didn't feel angry. I felt efficient. At 7:43 p.m. my phone rang. No caller ID. I let it ring twice. Answered. Silence. Then panicked. Whispering. Who is this? It was Gavin. He sounded like he was in a closet. Hello, I said pleasantly. What did you do? What did you do? She's at Diana's office. The Uber just left her there. She's in the lobby. Diana just called my cell. She saw her on the security feed. What is happening? He was hyperventilating. It was delightful. Gavin, old sport, I said using a nickname I'm pretty sure he's never been called. That sounds like a terrible logistics problem. You've got a high V-value asset in the wrong delivery zone. And it looks like your partner Deanna is handling the receiving. This isn't funny. You have to call her. Tell her it was a joke. A prank? A prank? Like billing your company for a spa day with your girlfriend. That kind of prank. Dead. Silence. He knew. Gavin, I said, my voice dropping. You and Celeste made a critical error. You thought I was stupid. I'm not stupid. I'm thorough. Your superstar has been forwarding her work emails, the ones with the expense reports, to her personal account on our shared iPad. You're not just a cheater, Gavin. You're an idiot, and you approved fraudulent documents. I think HR got my email about 30 minutes ago. I heard a sound, a muffled sob. You're done. I said both of you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some packing to do. Don't ever call this number again. I hung up. The apartment was so quiet. I grabbed a stack of heavy-duty trash bags and headed for her closet. Time to streamline the inventory. Update 1. It's been about 72 hours since the Uber. The silence in my apartment has been amazing, but the noise from the outside world has been intense. So, the immediate aftermath around 1:30 a.m. On Wednesday morning, the pounding started. Not just a knock. A full-on end-of-days pounding. Arthur, open this door, you psycho. Open it right now. I was on my couch watching a documentary. I didn't move. I'd already put the chain on and double-bolted the lock. You think this is funny? You ruined my life. My career is over. Gavin is more pounding. She was kicking the door now. I'm calling the police. I'll tell them you assaulted me. That was a mistake. I picked up my phone and started recording her threats. After about 10 minutes of this, she actually did it. 2 police officers showed up around 2 a.m. I saw the flashing lights through my blinds. I answered the door, chain still on. Officer 1, sir, we received a call from this woman. She says you've locked her out of her apartment. Me tired. Officers, good morning. This is my condo. She was my girlfriend. She doesn't pay rent and isn't on the mortgage. We had a non-domestic breakup this evening. She's been threatening me for the last 20 minutes. I have a recording of her screaming she was going to file a false assault report. I held up the phone. The officers looked at each other, then at Celeste, who is now doing the hysterical crying thing. Celeste, he's lying. He's crazy. He trapped me. He sent me to some witch's office. Ma'am, where did he send you? My boss's wife's office. He's stalking us. Sir, Did you do that? Officer, I ordered her an Uber. She's an adult. She could have gone anywhere. She chose to make a scene. I looked at them. Honestly, I found out she was having an affair and stealing from her company, all while living in my home. I ended it. Now she's trespassing. This is a civil matter, and I'm happy to arrange a time for her to get her belongings with a civil standby, but I don't feel safe letting her in right now, especially after the false report threat. The cops were done. They told Celeste this was a civil dispute and that she couldn't be here. They told her she needed to find somewhere else to stay and contact me in the morning to arrange getting her things. She was livid. This is my home. I have makeup in there. My laptop. They eventually made her leave. I watched from the window as she stomped off to her car, the one I co-signed for, another problem for another day, and sped off. The next day, the real entitlement wave hit. My phone rang. Her mother, Brenda. Brenda. Arthur. Arthur. Thank heavens, Celeste is here and she is an absolute wreck. I think you owe her an apology. Me an apology for what exactly? For this? This stunt? You embarrassed her? You sent her to that horrible woman's office. You got her suspended. Gavin was fired this morning. Already fired. They walked him out all over. A little mistake. Meet Brenda. A little mistake is spilling wine. Billing your company for spa days and designer shoes to cover an affair. Isn't a little mistake. It's called fraud. She's lucky she's only suspended and not arrested. Her voice got cold. She is an ambitious girl. Gavin was mentoring her. You're just a jealous, petty little man who couldn't handle her success. You've ruined her all because your ego was bruised. My ego is fine, Brenda. It's her career that's in the toilet. She needs to get her stuff. I have 14 boxes and 8 trash bags packed. She can come Saturday at noon. I'll request a civil standby. You'll be hearing from our lawyer. She contributed to that condo. She bought avocados. Brenda, good luck with that. I hung up. The fallout. I heard from a friend at a rival company that the news is everywhere in their industry. Gavin is toast. His reputation is gone. Diana, his wife, filed for divorce that night. She not only froze all their assets, but she's apparently countersuing his severance for the reputational damage and financial misconduct. She is, and I quote my friend, going nuclear. Celeste is suspended while HR does a full audit. Apparently, the $1,500 client gifts were just the tip of the iceberg. She's been skimming for almost a year. I also got a lovely call from the auto loan company. Surprise. Celeste missed her last payment, the car I co-signed for. So I took care of that. I called a repo company, paid the retrieval fee myself, and had it towed from her parents' house this morning. It's my car now, legally. I'll sell it and pay off the loan. She can add Grand Theft Auto to the list of things she's explaining to her mom. Saturday is the big pickup. I've requested the standby. I'm expecting a full-blown tantrum. I'm making popcorn. Update 2. Saturday, noon. The big day. As expected, it wasn't just Celeste. At 12 p.m. on the dot, my buzzer rings. I look at the camera. It's Celeste, her mother, Brenda, and oh good, her father, Frank. Frank is a big guy who always looked at me like I was a faulty appliance. I buzz them up. The civil standby officer, Officer Miller, is already here. He looks like he'd rather be anywhere else. I open the door. The boxes are all piled neatly in my entryway. Officer, folks, let's keep this simple. Ma'am, you're here to get your belongings. No arguments, no drama. You get your things and you leave. Mr. My last name will stay back here with me. Celeste, eyes red and puffy, just glares at me. Brenda immediately starts. Brenda, this is it. This is all of it. I don't see her high-speed blender or her antique mirror. The blender is in box 7. The antique mirror came from a home goods store 2 years ago. It's in the box labeled Fraggle. I packed everything that was hers. You think you're a big man, huh? Ruining my daughter's life. I ought to officer. Sir, step back. This is not a confrontation. You are here to move boxes. That's it. Frank looks at the cop, then at me, and snorts. They start moving boxes. Celeste is directing them like a queen, pointing at which ones to take first. Be careful with that. My shoes are in there. Then the entitlement hits its peak, stops, looks at me. Where's my laptop? Me, it's in the black backpack right there on top. No, my work laptop. I don't have your work laptop, Celeste. I assume you left it at the office when you were suspended. No, I left it here. You stole it. You stole it to get those emails. Celeste, I didn't need your laptop. You left your personal email open on the living room iPad. You forwarded the evidence to yourself. You were just sloppy. Her face goes white, then red. Frank and Brenda stop moving boxes. You what? You forwarded them to back them up. It's not my fault, you idiot girl. You people, we are not doing this. Get the boxes. Leave. Now they scramble. They get the last box out and Celeste stands in the doorway. This isn't over, Artie. I'm getting a lawyer. You unlawfully evicted me. You caused me emotional distress. You're going to pay for a new apartment for me. You owe me. Me owe you nothing, Celeste. You were a guest and you're not a very good one. Goodbye. I close the door. Officer Miller nods at me. Good luck, man, and leaves. Peace. For about 2 days. Then the dirty trick arrived. A letter from a lawyer, not a lawsuit, just a big, scary demand letter. It claims I maliciously and intentionally inflicted emotional distress and violated her tenant rights, which she never had. The demand, $10,000 for emotional distress and reputational harm, $3,500 for lost and damaged property, claiming her blender is now making a weird noise. She wants me to pay her security deposit and first and last month's rent for a comparable luxury apartment in the city. And the kicker, she demands the immediate return of a specific painting that was hanging in my study. The painting is this big, ugly, abstract thing she brought over one day. She claims she bought it at a gallery show. I've always hated it. I go into the study. I look at this monstrosity. I take it off the wall. And there on the back of the frame is a small metal tag. Property of Gavin's company, Executive Loan Program, art piece number 088B. The woman didn't just steal office supplies. She stole the art. Gavin must have just let her walk out with it. This painting is probably worth thousands. I start laughing. I can't help it. She just demanded a legal letter that I return stolen property to her. I picked up my phone. I didn't call my lawyer. I pulled up that anonymous email account again to Director C.C. Diana's public email at her law firm. Subject Urgent Expense Report Fraud. Additional information. Dear all, thank you for your prompt attention to the previous matter. It has come to my attention that in addition to the fraudulent expenses, Celeste's name also appears to have company property at her residence. Or she did. She seems to have left a painting from your executive loan program in my apartment. See attached photo of the piece and a close-up of the property tag on the back. I'm not sure what the protocol is for this, but I imagine Diana and your legal department would like to retrieve it. I will have it waiting by my door. Regards, a concerned party. I hit send. Now I wait. I wonder if her lawyer knows he just sent a demand letter for stolen goods. This is better than popcorn. Final update. It's been about 2 months. The dust has settled and the fallout is comprehensive. So that email about the painting, it was like dropping a match in a fireworks factory. About 6 hours after I sent it, I got a call from a very calm, very scary-sounding woman who introduced herself as Diana's paralegal. She arranged to have a bonded art crier come to my apartment that afternoon to retrieve the painting. The courier showed up, treated the ugly thing like it was the Mona Lisa, and had me sign a form. It was efficient. Apparently, the painting was a leased piece valued at $22,000. It was not something Gavin could just loan out. This moved the whole affair from internal fraud to grand larceny. Celeste's lawyer went completely dark. My own lawyer, who I finally hired for a formal consultation, sent a polite reply to the demand letter, noting that we found the lawyer's request for the return of stolen company property very interesting, and that any further contact would be considered harassment. We never heard from that lawyer again. The final bomb dropped last week. I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. It was Gavin. He didn't sound like he was in a closet. He sounded like he was calling from the bottom of a well. "Arthur McGavin, I told you not to call me. Please, just please, you have to help me. They're pursuing criminal charges for the expenses for the painting. That Celeste told them I gave it to her as a gift. But Diana, my ex-wife, she's working with the company's lawyers. They're trying to ruin me. Me? Sounds like they're doing a great job. What does this have to do with me? Gavin." He was actually crying now, a wet, pathetic sobbing. "You could tell them you lied. Tell them you faked the emails, that you stole the painting yourself and framed us. I'll pay you. I can get $15,000. Just tell Diana you were a jealous ex and you made it all up." I just sat there. He wanted me to confess to multiple felonies to save his skin. The audacity. The sheer uncut entitlement. Me. My voice was quiet. All the humor was gone. I just felt tired and angry. "Gavin, you and her, you stood in my home. You laughed at me. You thought I was a predictable, stupid utility you could just use. You thought I was the before picture and you were the after. You disrespected me. You disrespected your wife and you stole from your company. You're not upset that you did it. You're upset that a predictable man like me knew how to forward an email. But $15,000, me Gavin, the $15,000 you're offering is probably the last bit of cash Diana didn't find. You made this bed. You approved the expenses. You let your superstar walk out the door with a $22,000 painting. This isn't my problem. This is your consequence. Goodbye." I hung up. I blocked his number. Here's the final scoreboard from what I've heard through the grapevine. Gavin fired. Divorced. Diana took him to the cleaners. She had the fraud and the affair as leverage. His company is pursuing criminal charges for the fraud and theft. He's probably going to jail. Celeste fired. Also named in the criminal complaint as a co-conspirator. Her industry is tiny. She's blacklisted. No one will hire her. Her unlawful eviction lawsuit never materialized. Last I heard, she had to sell her car, the one I repoed and sold, forcing her to pay the difference on the loan, and is living back in her childhood bedroom. Brenda and Frank are apparently furious at her. The car, I sold it, paid off the loan, it barely covered it. I lost about $500. I consider it a cheap price to be free of her. The condo is quiet. I bought a new painting for the study. It's a landscape. It's very predictable. It cost $200 and I have the receipt. It's weird. You spend 4 years with someone and then it's just over. Like a bad logistics contract. I'm not hitting the gym or climbing mountains. I'm just here. I'm processing the fact that the person I loved was a narcissistic thief. It stinks. It's a betrayal that leaves a mark. But then I look at the new painting. I order a pizza. I open a beer. And I enjoy the silence. She wanted the fast track, she just didn't realize it was a one-way train. And I was the one who forwarded the switching manifest. She was right. I am predictable. I predict that when you mess with a man's home and his trust, you end up in a world of trouble. System corrected. Shipment delivered.